I want to be ratchet and righteous? What's going on, everyone? My name is D.A. Bourne, and you're watching The Blessed Opinion, where I talk about entertainment, sports, news, whatever it is, bring it from a spiritual perspective. A lot of it's God's word, some of it's my blessed opinion. Anyway, anytime in this video, if you like what you're listening to, press that like button, and please comment, man. Give me something in the comments, and also subscribe. All right, this is brand new, and just want to get it out there so that everybody, when people watch their videos, they could see the blessed opinion and get the opportunity to click on it. All right, okay, here we go. Now today I am talking about somebody who I've apologized for. I've become an apologist for them many times, and that person is Lecrae. Now, I love Lecrae. I love his music, and I'm not really gonna go down on him too much, but I'm going to talk about his clothing wear. Yes, he brought out some clothing wear, and it's called Ratchet and Righteous. That's right. Now, I never thought those two would go together. Now, obviously, ratchet is a fairly new word. Not new as in 2 weeks ago, but like a few years old. And ratchet pretty much means ghetto. And, recently, Lecrae had ongoing back and forth with another rapper called D1. D1 said that he was lukewarm, saying that, why are you talking about ratchet and righteous? It shouldn't even go together. And he was accusing him of being more pro-black than pro-Christ. I don't want to get into all of that. You can go and look up, just Google search D1 and Lecrae, and you can find out the whole thing. But anyway, Lecrae kind of defines ratchet as, hey, if you're having your hair out, that's ratchet. If you go into Walmart with curlers in your hair, I don't know, that's ratchet. Gold teeth, all that stuff, which is, whatever, that's fine. And he also said, Jesus might have been ratchet because he came from Nazareth, where people didn't really necessarily like Nazareth. So even he tries to say, well, Jesus is kind of ratchet. But anyway, let's move on. How I define ratchet, I don't know. I just think, when someone says you're ghetto, yeah, I mean, the afro, whatever, gold teeth, whatever, that stuff doesn't bother me. It's when you kind of have this persona about you that you just, it can be classless. And I don't want this to go the wrong way, but I just don't put ratchet and righteous together, because when you become a Christian, your goal is to strive for excellence in everything you do, right? So to have something called ratchet and righteous wear is kind of confusing to me. And I want to show you a real clip right now, because they have something called ratchet rap. All right? And ratchet rap, after you see this clip, it'll be kind of hard to put ratchet and righteous together. Anyway, check this clip out.
A bitch stay pregnant. I swallow nut, I really feel like an elephant. Tell Joe Biden I wanna suck on the president.
Real niggas love ratchet bitches. Y'all ain't killing my man, so I went and bought him switches. Bow, bow. My booty.
All right. Okay, I apologize for the NSFW, as they say, not suitable for work or whatever. And I didn't even play the worst of it yet. They did talk about stuff like, my pardon my words here, my coochie's pink, my booty hole's brown, all that stuff, like crazy stuff. That's what they call ratchet rap. Now that's the lowest of the low for me. I don't even know what the name of this group is, but anyway, so ratchet to me is like the opposite of excellence, and we as Christians strive for excellence. Is that not true? And we want to carry ourselves by the way we dress, by the way we look, by the way we speak. These are things that are excellence. We want to, when we go to the workplace, we want to put our 100% effort. You don't want people to say, "Oh, you're a lazy bum." We put excellence in everything we do. So to me, that's kind of like the opposite of ratchet. So this Ratchet and Righteous, where I don't know, I'm not feeling it. And I'm just one person, but for me, it just doesn't seem like it goes together. But anyway, I'm just showing you one shirt from Ratchet and Righteous wear. Alright? Now here's where it gets confusing. Look at the next clip. Look at these next two shirts. One of them says, "I can quote Kendrick and Corinthians." And then the female shirt says, "I can quote Cardi and Corinthians." Kendrick obviously referring to Kendrick Lamar. Cardi also referring to Cardi B. Now these are, well, you obviously know them. If you're watching this, or you've at least heard of them. Kendrick Lamar, Cardi B, they are both, very talented artists who have sold millions of copies, and they're known throughout the world. But their songs aren't necessarily clean. Matter of fact, they're not clean. And they are explicit and full of, a variety of lyrics that is kind of the opposite of Corinthians. Now, Corinthians, obviously, they're talking about the book in the New Testament, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. So, I'm kind of confused. Lecrae, who are you trying to target with a shirt that says, "I can quote Kendrick and Corinthians"? I can quote Cardi and Corinthians. Like, I'm just not figuring this out, because isn't it when you are a Christian, you're supposed to stray away from the stuff of the world and lean towards stuff of Christ? So if I'm a Christian, why am I sitting here trying to memorize Kendrick Lamar lyrics or Cardi B lyrics? So that would mean that I spend my time listening to this kind of music all day long. It don't make sense to me. Now, I'm not gonna, transparency, I'm not gonna come around acting like, okay, I don't listen to, secular music every once in a while, because there are some times, right? There's some times where, I'm no young chicken, so, I do like to listen to some 90s hip-hop and R&B every once in a while. Like, sometimes I'll just go through Apple Music and I'll see something I haven't seen in a while, and I'll click it, and it just brings back nostalgia. And sometimes you have that craving, you want to listen to some of that music, because, to be honest, some of today's music is just, it's not 100% pleasing, whether it's Christian or secular hip-hop in today's music, or whatever the music is. It's just something about 90s music. It's just something about that old West Coast beats. I don't know, man. You just get into this zone, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, sometimes I do tend to listen to a few tracks here and there. But at the same time, I don't brag about it. It's not something I boast about. I'm not going to go around telling people that, yeah, I listen to this music and I bump to it and I vibe to it, and I can quote lyrics from Tupac and quote Corinthians. I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't vibe, all right? It doesn't vibe. So I'm trying to figure this out, all right? And maybe that's where you could comment and about this, because I'm just trying to figure this out. All right? So who's this appealing to? Okay? So your brother, you're wearing the shirt, I can quote Kendrick and Corinthians. So you're gonna go to someone you're trying to reach for Christ and say, yo, how you doing, man? You know, just, hey, you know that I can quote the lyrics to All Right? Or, you know what? I could quote the lyrics to Mad City. Man, you want to hear me drop a verse from Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe? Or how about yeah, let me drop a couple verses from Money Trees, yeah. And then after that, I'm gonna quote some Corinthians to you. I don't know. It doesn't. Y'all gotta help me on this. I'm trying to figure this out. All right. Okay. So a young lady wears the I can quote Cardi and Corinthians. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell another lady who you're trying to reach that you know the lyrics to I Like It, or you know the lyrics to Bodak Yellow, or you're gonna drop a freestyle about cheap ass weave? I don't know. Or you're gonna drop a verse from Hot S Blank? Or how about this? Yeah, you want to reach somebody. You want to be a witness to them. And you drop the lyrics to WAP. Yeah, that's it. Drop the lyrics to WAP. Now, for those who don't know the acronym for W-A-P, WAP, just Google it and you'll find out. Alright? I'm not even gonna go and get to NSFW on this podcast. Alright? So yeah, you could quote Cardi and Corinthians. Yeah, you could quote some WAP and then quote some Corinthians. All those songs that I mentioned have a whole bunch of cursing in it, a whole bunch of swearing, and that kind of brings to what D1 was saying about Lecrae, that he's being lukewarm, because if you're gonna be rapping lyrics that you're not supposed to be thinking about, and you know, come across as saying I'm a Christian, I do this and that, then I don't know. Sounds kind of lukewarm to me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my blessed opinion. I don't know. But anyway, let's back this up with some scripture. How about that? James chapter 3, verse 7 to 12, and it says, people can tame all kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and fish, but no one can tame the tongue. It is restless and evil, full of deadly poison. Sometimes it praises our Lord and Father, and sometimes it curses those who have been made in the image of God. And so blessing and cursing come pouring out of the same mouth. Surely, my brothers and sisters, this is not right. Does a spring of water bubble with both fresh water and bitter water? Does a fig tree produce olives, or a grapevine produce figs? No, and you can't draw fresh water from a salty spring. Man, if that's not as clear as day, I don't know what is. So, you saying you can quote Kendrick and Corinthians, meaning that you can curse, and you can talk poison, and you could also talk the word. Who are you reaching with that? Maybe I'm getting the wrong vibe from this. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. You could tell me in the comments if I'm missing something out of this, but it just I don't know. I don't see this apparel working for anybody. I don't know. Anyway, and you know what's funny about this too? Is that he uses Corinthians for the shirt. Corinthians of all chapters. Now I'm going to bring some verses from 1 Corinthians alone. I ain't even getting to 2 Corinthians, but from 1 Corinthians alone, that kind of contradict this t-shirt that he just brought out. All right, so check this out. Let's go through a few verses here. Let's start with 1 Corinthians 2 verse 14. But people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from God's Spirit. It all sounds foolish too, and they can't understand it, for only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means. Let's move on. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 3. For you are still controlled by your sinful nature. You are jealous of one another and quarrel with each other. Doesn't that prove you are controlled by your sinful nature? Aren't you living like people of the world? Man, we could take out one of those sentences and say, you're still controlled by your sinful nature. You still quote explicit lyrics and you still listen to secular music. Doesn't that prove that you're still controlled by your own sinful nature? Aren't you living like people of the world? Yeah, okay. How about this verse here? 1 Corinthians 6 verse 18. Run from sexual sin. No other sin so clearly affects the body as this one does. For sexual immorality is a sin against your own body. So I can quote Cardi and Corinthians. So let me quote the lyrics to WAP. And then I'll quote 1 Corinthians 6 verse 18 to you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally affected. How can I be saved after you quote those two things to me? Wow. Okay. Anyway, let's go to another verse. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 31. For those who use the things of this world should not become attached to them. For this world, as we know it, will soon pass away. So we're not supposed to be attached to the music that we used to listen to before we got saved. So if you're saved and you're still attached to all that other music, then, you know, we're still part of this world. I mean, not. And like I said, I have my moments, all right? But I don't try to stay attached to it. You know what I mean? I ask for forgiveness and move on. Anyway, let's go to one more verse from still 1 Corinthians. And I'm not going to make this video super long. So 1 Corinthians 8 verse 13 says, So if what I eat causes another believer to sin, I will never eat meat again as long as I live, for I don't want to cause another believer to stumble. Wow. This is Paul saying that, right? So when he wrote this, he's basically saying that if I'm trying to reach another person who doesn't know Christ, and I'm doing something that may hinder their walk, then I'm going to stop doing it. It's just clear as day. I mean, it's just... Like, for example, all right? I just recently watched the Secrets of Hillsong. It was on Disney Plus. And they talk about a lot of stuff about, what went on with that mega church and how it went down. And there was a lot of stuff that took place, a lot of simple stuff that took place that led to the downfall of Hillsong. Now, I can watch it because, it's not going to affect my walk. However, I would not recommend Secrets of Hillsong to someone who just got saved, because they may look at it as seeing, well, man, if Hillsong went down and if let me retract. If Hillsong if that was to happen to me, all right. What I'm trying to say is that if Hillsong, whatever happened to Hillsong, couldn't that happen to any other church? Why should I go to church if they're gonna be just like Hillsong? Anyway, I digress. If what you do causes another believer to sin, you should never eat meat again as long as you live. He's just saying example, going back to the t-shirts, right? if you listen to secular music and you're trying to reach someone else and you're saying I could quote Cardi or I could quote Kendrick, and they're still struggling with that kind of music, do you think they're actually going to get better in their walk with God if they know that you listen to Cardi and Kendrick and you brag about it, and they're a new believer and they're trying to move on and get more righteous? Don't you think that you bragging about what you listen to is going to help their walk at all? I hope you see what I'm saying. And excuse me for stumbling earlier with that verse, but anyway, I don't know. These are just my thoughts. Uh, he should have picked Corinthians for that T-shirt, because Corinthians got a lot of stuff that really contradicts the Ratchet and Righteous wear that he's bringing out. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll just be interesting, because man, if I see anybody wearing that shirt, I think I'm gonna really open up some questions for them. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. So please leave some comments. What are your thoughts about the Ratchet and Righteous wear? Is it something that you think you would wear? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Am I missing something that that I should be seeing? Is it something that is better than I'm projecting it to be, or is it worse than I'm projecting it to be? I don't know. Leave your comments. This is the Blessed Opinion. I'm D.A. Bourne, and like, subscribe, share, comment, do it all. God bless. I am out. Peace.